Okay. Hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. This is a very special show today because I have two very special people on the line. When I say the way we were, I'm really talking about the way we were because the young man that I have on the line right now is a native Washingtonian. He was born in Foggy Bottom in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. He's a native Washingtonian. He's been regarded as a gifted artist who broke the color barriers in stage, film, and television before the term colorblind casting ever existed. He and his partner, Douglas Turner Ward, founded the Negro Ensemble Company. And Robert was nominated for a Tony for his lead role in the musical Hallelujah Baby. Uh, this guy is just a fantastic human being. He's done so many great things with theater here in Washington, D.C. when he founded the D.C. Repertory, Black D.C. Repertory Theater. And all of us who in D.C. tried to be a part of that, tried to support him. When we look at this guy, we see the significant roles that he played in. He was the first African American lead on television in the drama, which was one of my favorite shows, NYPD. And without further ado, man, this guy also has been a part of Kids in Trouble and Inside Sports. When he was in DC, he was a part of the landscape, whether it was a celebrity tennis tournament or celebrity fashion show, Christmas toy parties, he was all a part of that. So without further ado, I would like to welcome the one and only Robert Hooks. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm just fine, Harold. I'm just fine. And don't forget, we played some basketball.
we play. we,
fine. And I look forward to coming back home for this amazing event next week on the 14th and 15th. At the 15th at the Lincoln Theater, and I'm looking forward to it. We did some wonderful things back in the city, and you were a part of it, my friend.
Well, Bobby, I want to thank you for for that plug, but it was all about teamwork back there. Tell us about your partner on the telephone who's helped putting this tribute together at the Lincoln Theater, honoring you, which is long overdue. Tell us about the young man that on the phone with us, Lynn Dyson.
Well, let me just say that Lynn was one of the stellar members of the DC Black Repertory Company and went on to do wonderful things on his own. But let me just have Lynn talk about himself and also about the event, because he's the one responsible for making this all happen the way it's going to happen on Friday and Saturday. Lynn?
Yeah, hello, Harold. Thank you for having both of us on, and it's my pleasure to speak with you. And I'm just one of the team that's working on putting it together for Bobby. And you're right, it is long overdue, but he's still breathing and walking and talking, so we're gonna make it happen.
Right.
This Friday, Robert Hooks will be honored by the city officially, by the mayor and the city council down at City Hall at 1:00 this Friday coming, and then we're going to have a VIP reception for him at the Busboys and Ports at 14th and B. And we're going to have memorabilia from 47 years ago all over Busboys. Photographs taken by the great Roy Lewis and David Augie and Debbie Chavis. And even a Keely Ron Anderson is going to have some sculpture there that he had in the Play Owen song. Bobby didn't know about that.
We're going to have it, but I certainly remember the artwork.
Right. Yeah, and he designed a set for that. So we're going to have pieces from that set there as part of the memorabilia. And Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Lonnie Bunch, director of the National Museum of History and Culture, they will be hosting that event at Busboys this Friday from 7:30 to 9:30. And then, of course, on Saturday is the big event at the Lincoln Theater. And, of course, we're going to be honoring Bobby, but he didn't do it by himself. He'll be the first to tell you that. He had some founding member families, people like Mike Malone, who co-founded the Duke Ellington School for the Arts, Bantai Whitfield, better known as Motor Gico. He will be honored posthumously. And you have Bernice Reagan, founder of one of the founders of Sweet Honey in the Rock, and a scholar within her own self. Then, of course, I'm going to give you two names. I know you know her. We're going to honor your running partner, Ed Murphy, and we're going to honor another one of your running partners, Petey Green. So it's going to be that kind of evening at the Lincoln Theater where we're going to and then I just got word today that the Office of Aging could be busted in 200 senior citizens, and the DC Records could be busted in another 100 senior citizens. So, we're going to have a good time going down memory lane on the 14th and 15th of next week.
Well, go ahead, Robert.
Let me inject just an addition that Lynn just forgot to mention, but because there's so many people that are being honored that night. But I must tell you, another one of your running buddies will be honored that night, the architect of the DC Black Repertory Company, James Walter Hooks, Jimmy Hooks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Robert, tell us about, and while we're talking about family, we read a lot about, Robert Hooks' family. Of course, they're always talking about Kevin. Tell us about the other part of your family, your other kids. Tell us what are they doing now, Robert?
Well, Kevin, of course, is directing and producing all over the place these days. Kevin's got a new series that he's in Chicago shooting for Ava DuVernay, series called Red Line, and it'll be on this coming season. Eric, Kevin's brother, right? You remember him from Sounder, the movie Sounder. Eric is teaching school right in Philadelphia, and also coaching basketball and refereeing a lot of basketball around Philadelphia. So, and of course, Christopher, my son Christopher, is just graduated from UCLA. He is in the business himself. And then Robert Jr. Is, there's Keo before Robert. Keo is living in the Bronx. He's one of my early sons. And Robert Jr. is now, having graduated in film school from Cal State Northridge, he's living in Berlin, Germany right now, with a wonderful family and a brand new grandson for me named Apollo Dean Hooks. So that's Robert Jr., who you remember when he was a little boy in D.C. Yeah, but the kids are doing fine. Now, my daughter, Cecilia, my firstborn, Cecilia is teaching school and married with a wonderful family in Texas, right outside of Dallas, in Richardson, Texas. So the kids are doing great. I'm happy and proud of what's happening. I'm more proud of what they've become as human beings, and that's always important for me. My kids, watching them grow, I'm proud, but just to see how they materialize and mature into just good, solid human beings, that makes me very, very proud.
Okay. We're talking to the one and only Robert Hooks, actor, director, and founder of the DC Black Repertory Theater. Robert, tell us about the foundation of the DC Black Repertory Theater. You had a lot of great young people come out of the theater who went on to become a great success in Hollywood and in television. Tell us about some of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, a lot of very, very talented people have gone on from the DC Black Repertory Company. But I started the rep in 47 years ago now.
Wow.
And just briefly to tell you what motivated my coming back home to start that company, on April the 4th, 1967, I think the world knows that Martin Luther King was murdered. And that night, I was living in New York, and I was shooting the NYPD, the series, and I was also running the Negro Ensemble Company. So I would be shooting all day, going to the office at night, and going to the theater at night. And that night, I got a call from Petey Green. Petey was sitting in the office with then Commissioner Walter Washington, And Walter got on the phone. He said, Mr. Hooks, you got to come down here and help us. They're burning the city to the ground. They're burning your hometown to the ground. And, you know, that night, 100 riots broke out around the country. And so the next day, I got the NYPD people to shoot around me so I could jump on a train and come down to Washington, D.C. and see what I could do, helping to get people off the streets, to keep people from burning their own buildings and their own businesses. And you remember the time very well, Harold. And so I came down and did that. And on my way back to New York the following day, I realized what I had done in New York, starting the Negro Ensemble Company and the Group Theater Workshop even before that, watching what it had done to the communities, bringing people closer together. And I decided that that's what Washington, my hometown, that I'm leaving, that is burning and smoldering, they need something like a cultural institution to bring people closer together, to start the healing after the assassination of Martin and the rioting of the city. So that prompted me to move back to Washington, D.C., to start the D.C. Black Repertory Company. And the rest, of course, is history. We not only had a repertory company of actors doing plays, but we had a dance company that Louis Johnson and Mike Malone started. We had Debbie Allen coming out of there, and Amy Stewart, and Alicia Sneed, and Kiki Shepard, and Nietzsche Jones, and Clyde Shop Ballet. And of course, you know, Mota Jinko, Van Tyle Whitfield was my artistic director. And we had our acting company. We had Smokey coming out of there, Kenny Holiday coming out of there, Jennifer Baker coming out of there. A wonderful array of actors going off into Broadway shows, television shows, and even movies. And as a matter of fact, Kenny Holiday is going to be hosting the evening at the Lincoln Center. Lynn, I'm sure I missed a lot of things.
Well, one thing, let me say before Lynn jump in 1968 was a very important year, impact year. Not only did Hattie and I found Kids in Trouble, Willie Wood and Luke Moore and I walked U Street together arm in arm. Arthur Ashe found the National Junior Tennis League that same year here in Washington, D.C. So in 1968 and 50 years later, man, that was something that really helped bring us all together. And when I stop and think about Petey and his leadership, and God bless his soul, he was the first to give me excuse me, 5 minutes on the air when he was on the air on WOL in 1967. He gave me 5 minutes on sports, and I parlayed that into the rest is sports talk show history. So yes, 1968 and 67 really is a lot going on in this city. And of course, a lot of people like yourselves, Ed Murphy was rolling at that time. It was a lot of beautiful things going on, and it's great to hear that you guys going to be honoring Petey and Ed during this weekend. So yes, Lynn, I think you've done a fantastic job getting Robert back here. I remember I was the one that sent him out of here, told him to get his ass on back to Hollywood because this town.
Very nice party for me.
Yes, I did. I had Sugar Ray Leonard, Carl Randolph, Jim Vance, all of them there, man. So
let me interrupt for a second. I just got a call from Mr. Kenny Holiday, and I got to take care of some business for him. He's in town.
Okay.
I want to give the website number and the phone number, and then I'll let you all continue on, but I do have to take care of this business.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
All right, so the website is www.mmtidc.org. If you can't remember that, you can go to Eventbrite and just put in DC Black Rep, Eventbrite, DC Black Rep, get tickets that way. You also can call 202-582-4213. That's 202-582-4213.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to get
That's all right. That's all right. Robert, I can take it from here.
Thank you. We'll talk later, man.
All right. Thank you.
Robert, one of the people I want to talk about is your good friend, Ed Murphy, and the great things as a businessman that he did here in D.C. He was well known, and when you start talking about entrepreneurship, you guys were right there together. Tell us about Ed.
Well, let me tell you about how important Ed Murphy was to the DC Black Repertory Company. When I first moved back to town, of course, the first thing you have to do when you're setting up a company, you have to put together a board of directors. So I had Peggy Cooper, who then Peggy Cooper, then became Peggy Cooper Capers, Clifford Alexander, who was Secretary of the Army after that, Dewey Hughes.
Oh my gracious! I think we just lost Robert. These phones drop off whenever they want to. We're going to take a little break, and y'all hold on, and I'm going to see if I can find Robert through these. I tell you, these cell phones, they got a mind of their own. So hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get Robert back on the phone. But anyway, this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the way we were. And we were talking to Robert Hooks, actor Robert Hooks, and his partner in crime, a guy who's arranging for this tribute, Len Dyson, which will be coming up on the 14th and 15th of this month, coming up next week. This week, really, it's already here. So what I'm gonna try to do now is see if I can find Robert on my little Rolodex here and see if I can get him back on the line. Yeah, okay. All right, let's see if it's ringing. All right, once again, this is the Legends of Inside Sports, and I'm Harold Bell, and we're going to see if we can pick up Robert Hooks again. The phone is ringing. Hey, hey, man, these cell phones, man, they got a mind of their own, Robert.
I know. Well, just quickly to finish up the Ed Murphy story, because it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a place to meet the young talent that I was going to bring into the company. I didn't have a place to meet the representatives of the foundations I was trying to get money from and all that. Well, Ed Murphy had next door to Ed Murphy Supper Club had a warehouse that he had, all of his goods and stuff. Well, he took those goods out of that warehouse and gave me the entire warehouse to start my classes, to start working with the young actors and the young dancers. And also what he did, when I had to meet with the foundation people and civic people to talk, he provided for next door in his restaurant. He had a table set up in the corner, where I would have my meetings at Ed Murphy Supper Club, and he would insist that the people get fed, and if they wanted drinks, and would not charge me a dime for it. So he created a space for me, and I didn't have the money to go get a space. And if it were not for Ed Murphy, we would not even have started our workshop training for the company. And so that's how, of course, then after that, he and I became very, very good friends. And to pay him off for doing that, one of the ways I paid him off, Harold, was I was acting at the time, and I was about to do a movie called Trouble Man.
Right.
And I asked Ed Murphy if he wanted to be in the movie, and he said, "What? You kidding me? Come on." They call me Doc Gable anyway. So I brought Ed Murphy out to Hollywood and put him in the movie. He was in the movie. We had a crap shooting scene.
He was right at home.
That's right. He was right at home. And you know who else was with him? And he was helping me a lot on the radio.
Who's that?
Had a tragic ending to his life. But Bob Terry, you remember?
Oh yes, oh yes, yes.
Nighthawk, Bob Terry, and Ed Murphy are in Trouble Man. If you ever see that movie again, wait for the scene where you'll see Ed Murphy and Bob Terry. And of course, we know what happened to him afterwards.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate. But yeah, so that was one of the ways I paid Ed off. But more than that, I paid him off by becoming one of his best friends and colleagues in Washington. And a lot of things went down because of our relationship.
Yeah. Bobby, one of those movies that has always been memorable to me, and you've done so many hundreds of them, was Trouble Man. With you had our homeboy doing the background music, Marvin Gaye.
Absolutely. That was one of the best parts of the movie. Was
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still classic. It's still a classic album. And a lot of people think it was better than the movie, but I can't say that.
Hey, are you aware that Marvin went into the prize fighting business? Did you know?
No.
Yeah, Marvin had a boxer out of Detroit. He brought his contract. He owned him, and Marvin and I hadn't seen each other in about 10 years, and we ran into each other in Las Vegas. Sugar Ray Leonard was on the main fight card with this kid. I can't think of his name, and who was his owner? But Marvin. I was at the press conference, and Marvin saw me. He went crazy. So he said, Harold, what? He said, Harold, what are you doing out here, man? I said, well, I'm with Sugar Ray Leonard. He said, well, when my man knocked him out in the first round, you can come with me.
That's funny.
Hey, look.
That's funny. Well, you were the one that took me, and at the time, my son Kevin, who was very young at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you took us to the very first fight.
Baltimore. That's right, Baltimore. We left from Faces. We left from Faces. That's right. Yep. All that crew, Jim Vance, all of us went over there to support him in his first fight, man, and that was a memorable event, man. So, Robert, you paid your dues, man.
Let me back. We still have a couple minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Because I want to just talk a bit about when I first came to town and started the DC Black Repertory Company. A lot of the wonderful people that were involved, the civic folk that were involved, and some politicians as well. I was introduced from the floor of Congress, of the House, by Karen Mitchell. You remember?
Oh, yeah. Baltimore, first class.
That's right.
First class.
These are all people that were supporting my concept, my mission, and they supported it to the very, very top. Eleanor Holmes Norton, Ron Dellums, and I mentioned Karen Mitchell, but and Clifford Alexander was on the board.
Right.
And I just think that those people need to just be mentioned, and I'll probably mention them from the stage when I'm honored on Saturday night, and Friday night as well. But Ivanhoe Donaldson, John Wilson, that the building I think we're going to be in. John Wilson was a very good friend, and Ivanhoe Donaldson. Jim Gibson was on my team.
Yeah, no Jim.
And it was just a fantastic array of Washingtonians. Bob Daughtry never really gets mentioned in the scheme of things. Bob Daughtry was one of our administrators early on at the DC Black Rep, and his name always kind of gets left in the dark. But Bob Daughtry was key, and Augie Osborne, of course, worked in sound, but then became a great photographer as a result of working with the DC Black Rep. And so I'm looking forward to being there, to be honored along with Vantal Whitfield, Carolyn Jones, my brother Jimmy Hooks, Mike Malone, Carolyn Smith. Carolyn Smith, you know Carolyn because you knew Boogie.
Oh, right. So
Carolyn Smith will be honored that night. Darryl Sads, of course, you know Darryl. He'll be honored that night. Bernice Regan, of course, was our workshop music director who came in from the Smithsonian Institution. Bernice Regan will be honored that night, of course. Out of the group, out of her workshop at the DC Black Rep came the fabulous international group Sweet Honey and the Rock. And Louis Johnson will be honored that night. Donald Sutton, who was one of our tech guys, will be honored. So there'll be 12 people honored tonight, and I'll be honored as well. And it'll be just great to be around people, my homies.
Right.
I'm sure you'll be there.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking time out, and I just want you to know my new book is out. Harold Bell's Legends of Inside Sports. My walk through sports history with champions and chumps. So I will be doing. This is the first volume, volume 1. There'll be 4 volumes, and I will have my story on the Black Repertory Theater and my walk through life. So, I'm definitely.
I know your walk through life, my friend, because I was there in the beginning know your inside sports thing. I did it a couple times as well.
No doubt about it.
Back in the day, but you have contributed so much to the city of Washington D.C. through your not just your radio show, but your articles and magazines and papers, and your loud voice. Sometimes it's just so loud you just gotta put your fingers in your ears, but it's your voice, and it's strong, and it's real, and it's if anything, it's Washingtonian.
Yeah.
So I thank you, my friend, for doing your thing, and I look forward to your books.
Well, I tell you, the truth is always loud, Robert Hooks. The truth is always loud. You better believe it. Thanks for taking time out, man, to be here on the Legends of Inside Sports, because you are a legend of Inside Sports. And looking forward, I hope Hattie can attend this weekend for this outstanding tribute, because she loves you, and I know she would love to be there. So, man, looking forward. Have a safe trip in, and see you when you get here.
Thanks, HB.
Okay.
Take care of yourself, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye, Robert Hooks. Okay, that's going to be it for the Legends of Inside Sports. I'm Harold Bell. Until next time, you can color me gone.